All right, so our program, I'm so excited to introduce one of our speakers, and then she will introduce the other one. I'm introducing Brinda Leone, our esteemed superintendent of the Brea Olinda Unified School District. Ms. Leone serves as superintendent of BOUSD, bringing over 26 years of experience in public education and a strong commitment to student-centered, equity-driven leadership. She is recognized for building trusting relationships with the board, staff, families, civic partners. I can vouch for that, for the chamber, a great partner, ensuring that the district initiatives remained aligned with BOUSD's mission, vision, and long-term goals. Under Ms. Leone's leadership, BOUSD has expanded dual and concurrent enrollment opportunities for both Brea Olinda High School and Brea Canyon High School, strengthening the district's college and career readiness pathways. She has advanced development of TK-12 and dual language immersion pathway, modernized CTE, robotics, and STEM programs, and championed the creation of artificial intelligence guidelines to prepare students for the rapidly evolving future. Her focus on wellness includes significantly expanding TK-12 counseling services, including one full-time counselor at each of the district's 6 traditional elementary schools. A historic achievement of Ms. Leone's tenure has been the successful passage of the district's school bond, the first to pass in 25 years after 4 attempts. This milestone reflects strong community relationships, transparent communication, and deep district-wide partnerships cultivated under her leadership. Ms. Leone brings extensive experience in human resources, labor relations, negotiations, organizational systems. In 2023, she was named the CCEA Plus Region 1 Superintendent of the Year for her commitment to strengthening school culture and improving student outcomes. She holds a master's degree in organizational leadership from Point Loma Nazarene University, a bachelor's degree in psychology from Cal Baptist University, who's represented here today, and completed ACSA Personnel Academy. She is also certified Franklin Covey Speed of Trust Trainer of Trainers, a proud mother of 3, a member of a military family. Ms. Leone remains dedicated to ensuring every student in BOUSD is known, supported, and empowered to thrive. That's it. Will you please help me welcome Superintendent Leone?
All right, good morning, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here, and I'm going to introduce Kasha Givenrod, who really is going to inspire you with our, really, they're more than programs in our district. What we're going to highlight and share with you today is really about building community and connections, which, Lacey, I would just thank you because this is, our second year with Good Morning Brea, and all throughout this room, people are looking for opportunities, they're building connections, they're forming a sense of community. I love looking out and seeing our BMA partners and our business partners, community partners, definitely represented here by the school board. And when Lacey asked us to share this year, it was a definite yes. What about our story and what about our district can we share with you that's different? Last year, we had our student board member share her story about the impact of her upbringing here in Brea. And I'm happy to say that she's had a full ride scholarship to her university, and she is highly successful on the East Coast. And this year we wanted to talk about other students in our district that really are so valuable to our mission and so valuable to our community. And so when I look out into this room, it's really about creating those opportunities and removing barriers for students. And I have to give a shout out to Awesome Sauce. You've heard them speak and present, Sarah and Kim, and they do amazing work in our schools too for our students on the spectrum. So just so delighted to be here with you today and share this story. But Kasha, who you hear from, she is our adapted PE specialist and unified liaison in Brea. She's been teaching for 19 years and providing students in our schools in preschool through high school, just really working with them and nurturing them. And anytime we need something, it's always a yes with Kasha, with the big smile that she has. And I love interacting with her. She's been recognized as a National Teacher of the Year by National Adapted PE Education Council and Western District Adapted PE Teacher of the Year by Shape America. And I know she's traveled and really shared her story and the joy of unified sports with other organizations. And then with the OC Parenting Magazine Teacher of the Year in 2020. Yes, she and I are alike. Please don't talk about us. But she is an amazing educator with just such a big heart for what you will see as inclusion. And so we're going to talk to you about what this opportunity looks like, the power of unity. And you see it's really the power of unity and the power of connection in our community. And we are all about breaking down barriers and creating opportunities for kids in our district. If you hang out with me long enough, you know I talk a lot about our mission, our vision, and our values. We always highlight a core value at a board meeting. We always talk about our mission statement, and that is we are a devoted educational community, which you get that sense. All Breans are devoted to the work we do. And it's critical that we highlight our mission, our vision, and values because these are the guiding principles that we lead by and that we make decisions by. We tie everything back to our mission, our vision, and our core values. And these are not just words on a wall, right? So you might see mission statements framed in an organization or in fancy letters mounted on a wall. We really do live by our mission, our vision, and highlight our values. So we do want all of our students to become local and global influencers through dynamic learning experiences, which Kasha will highlight today. Our vision statement, we really want all learners to thrive. Last year, you heard a high-achieving academic student board member speak to Good Morning Brea, and this year you're going to hear about other amazing opportunities that really highlight students with special needs and other students who may not be in the spotlight all of the time. So by creating those opportunities. And then our values. So if you do not leave inspired today, I would encourage you to take a walk and take a deep breath and reflect upon the stories that Kasha is going to share with you today, because when she came to me with the idea of introducing unified sports to Brea, it was an easy yes, right? And as leaders, we can go to the next slide. Thank you. As leaders, there's leaders throughout all levels of your organization. And it's really our responsibility to empower every single leader in the organization. And one of my favorite authors is Brene Brown, and she says, a leader is anyone who takes responsibility for finding the potential in people and processes and has the courage to develop that potential. And I'm so proud to co-present with Kasha today because she embodies this quote. She is a living, breathing example of taking responsibility and seeing potential in every single student that walks through our doors. And I'm so encouraged to share that with you. So these opportunities for our students do represent our culture, and you'll see that. Our students are inspired, our students are courageous, our students feel included, and that's so incredibly important as part of our mission and the work we do in Brea. So please give a round of applause to Kasha Givenrod. We're so excited to share this with you, and we're happy to take questions at the end, so thank you.
So I'm a PE teacher. I'm loud naturally. Can you guys all hear me?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. No mic needed. It's built in. Thank you very much for the lovely introduction, and thank you to Brinda for asking me to do this today. If nothing else, I am shameless about talking about our unified programs. I'm so excited about what we're doing in Brea, and I'm just so grateful to have an admin team that supports me, my vision, my students, and all the magic that we're making happen. So thank you. Today, we're going to talk about all of our unified programming that we have at Brea Olinda High School, but I think it's really important to kind of find the background, the why behind it. So I wanted to give you a little bit of background on me. So when I was 16 years old, I was in the situation where I needed to have service hours. So I decided to volunteer for an overnight camp for students, or adults actually, with disabilities. And this is baby Kasha. At 16 years old, I was partnered up with Carlene. Carlene is a 30-year-old woman at the time with Down syndrome. And during that week, I learned an incredible amount, not just about her, but about myself as well. And I got to really see the magic of what happens when we put different populations of what we kind of assume are different people together. It's magic. And when we kind of eliminate those barriers, so much is possible. And so through camp, which is now called RAD Camp, which stands for Rising Above Disabilities, we actually continue this mission. I am way too old to be a counselor now. I don't have the energy anymore, but I do serve on our board of directors. And we are now the largest overnight camp for adults and children with disabilities in the state of California. And we have 3 parts to our mission. The first, which I think is kind of the unsung hero of what we do, is that we provide respite care for our families and caregivers. That's huge. They need a break. And we are able to provide them that with a great amount of peace of mind. The other 2 things are why I love doing what I'm doing, because we make sure to put emphasis on our campers. Our campers are our focus, and it's why we do what we do. We want to create an awesome experience for them, but also for the volunteers like I was at 16. We want to make sure to provide them this opportunity to see what's possible when we put all of these groups together. And so this has motivated me over the years to want to put Unified into action. I'm just lucky enough that I have people who have said yes along the way. So next slide, please. So before we start talking about what we're doing now, I think it's really important to really just kind of define what inclusion actually is supposed to look like. Because there's lots of different ideas of what inclusion is. And unfortunately, a lot of it isn't really done in an effective manner. So let's kind of look historically at how our education system specifically has worked with, or not, students with special needs. And I think that we can easily draw some parallels here between workplace and community as well. So when we look at these graphics, you're going to see a large circle. Think of that circle as a school, okay, an actual structure. The green dots are going to be our students without special needs. These are our gen ed kids. The multicolored dots along the outside, all those other colored dots, are going to be our students with special needs. All right, so when we look back historically, our education system basically said, you're not our problem, we're not educating you. That's the exclusion model. Thankfully, we're not here anymore. But the next step was moving on to more of a segregation model. They said, okay, well, we're still keeping all of our general education kids on this campus, but we'll educate our students with special needs in their own separate school. All right, and you can see some parallels between like civil rights movement in these graphics. The civil rights movement and the disability rights movement have definitely had many, many parallels. Now we see the integration model here. So this is the next step up, where we have our school with our general education peers, but we also have our students with special needs being educated on that campus, but they're kind of in their own room. Okay, and this one is really where a lot of schools still sit. This is kind of what I call the inclusion illusion. All right, so a lot of people think, oh, but they're here, they're with us, but they're not having access to the same learning. They're not having access to the same educational opportunities and instruction. And so really, that's not true inclusion. When we look at what true inclusion is, it is students of all different ability levels learning in the same room, receiving access to the same opportunities and the same content. And so that is truly inclusion. But, of course, because I'm a one-upper, Unified is even better, because what happens with Unified is we have half of the class, and this is very intentionally designed. 50% of the class is students with special needs. 50% of the class is students without special needs, and they are intentionally partnered together for all learning activities. And so what happens with the dots in this one is you can't really see what color it is. And that's the magic of Unified, because those students are working together. Everything they do is intentionally provided for them to learn, to practice, to receive, and put out information together as a partner pair. And so when we look at this trajectory, this is why it's so exciting to see how far we've come. So that's just a little bit of background on inclusion. So when we look at the high school, we were very excited last year because we were honored to be recognized by Special Olympics as a Unified Champion School. That is very cool for many reasons. It was definitely a lot of work to get there. We had to meet certain criteria. So being recognized as a Unified Champion School meant that we had to prove that we met these 3 criteria. The first is having a unified sports team, which we do. Our unified sports team is 50-50. We have half of our athletes are students with special needs, half are gen ed. and we play against other high schools, which, let me tell you, is so cool. And we actually have our first game today, later. So we're very excited. Go Wildcats. So we also had to prove that we had inclusive youth leadership. That just basically means that we have opportunities for students on IEPs to be in ASB or Link Crew. Or for us specifically at Brea Linda, we have a unified leadership team comprised of students, again, 50-50, you're going to hear that consistently throughout this, where we get to be in those leadership roles together. Then we also had to show that we had whole school engagement opportunities, because unified is wonderful, but the real purpose of it is to promote inclusion across campus. And so when we have whole school engagement opportunities, like a huge basketball game where we invite the entire student body to come and watch and cheer us on, that's a really cool opportunity for people to see the magic of inclusion in action. So at the high school, we have 3 classes that are unified. These classes meet every day, and again, each class is 50-50. We have unified choir. Nothing has surprised me more than telling people I teach unified choir, but it is fantastic. We are learning a different song every month. We are learning choreography for every song. We are performing these songs either in front of the student body or groups of teachers and things like that. It's been really, really exciting. This is our first year this year with Unified Choir. We also have Unified PE, which is a physical education class that just provides all the instruction to, again, 50-50 class. We have students in that class who are super high-level athletes, like varsity football players. We also have students who are working on basic gross motor skills. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that we're all at different levels. The instruction is provided in a way that everyone can find success and be challenged, and we all learn to work together, which is the whole idea. And then we have our unified sports team, which is our after-school sports team. We actually practice during the day to eliminate some barriers with transportation and things like that. So it's been kind of amazing to have our team practice every day. We've been crushing it in volleyball right now, and then we'll move on to other sports as the year goes on. We actually participated in, for the first time, a CIF track meet last year, which was really exciting, and we had the opportunity to do that. So what I would love to do next is show us a little snippet of our unified choir. So as a reminder, this unified choir, we didn't audition kids for this. These are a lot of kids who have never sang in front of a group before. These are students that are varsity football players. We have students that are nonverbal or non-speaking in this group. We have students who have, we have cheerleaders, we have seasoned choir performers. We have the whole gamut in this group. And so each month we learn a song, and this was October's, of course, Michael Jackson Thriller. Please enjoy.
There's no link in the video.
Okay, I'm not going to perform it for you. Okay. That's okay. That's so funny.
If you can pull it, do you know if it's on YouTube or?
It's in my Google.
Okay. If you want to give it to me a little later.
There's
no link
on this thing.
No, I tried. I didn't even know when
Well,
I
that's
got
a
the
bummer.
file, I didn't even know that was
Yeah.
okay.
It was amazing, though. I was
They did
there.
great.
Yes.
They did great.
It is on your Instagram, right?
It is on my Instagram.
Yes.
So we have a Unified Wildcats Instagram account, and I post videos of all our performances and all the things on there. So if you guys are interested, and it's actually better because it's the full performance on Instagram. But what's really special about this group performing is just watching them have fun together on stage. And these are kids that normally wouldn't have shared a class together. And now they're building connections, they're trusting each other, and they're learning together in a way that's really unique. And I think they're all gonna really remember this. So besides the classes that we have with our students that are enrolled and we meet every day, we also have additional unified programming and inclusive opportunities for the rest of the student body to engage in. We have our unified leadership team, which I had mentioned earlier, and our job as a leadership team is to create goals for what Unified is going to do this year and to make sure we're meeting those goals. It's also in charge of creating inclusive whole school engagement opportunities for all the students to be able to engage in, things like that. We have our Unified Club, which happens in the spring. That is for students we do basically lunchtime practices for a while, and then we have our big whole school engagement game where, and I'm not kidding you guys when I say this, the gym is packed with our student body. You're gonna see pictures of it in a second. And I have never heard the gym so loud in my life. And these are students from the entire campus. They weren't bribed, they weren't forced. They all showed up to support these athletes, and it's really, really special because what Unified is doing is catching, and it's really impacting the campus community as a whole. We also have Circle of Friends. That's actually our link crew. Our link crew students plan activities every other Wednesday to do with our students in our life skills program, which is our high needs classroom. And so we have Circle of Friends. They also, 2 or 3 students a couple years ago from Circle of Friends came to me and they said, hey, Mrs. G, we don't like that your students don't come to our school dances. So can we create an inclusive dance for them? And of course I said yes. And so it was amazing. This is a picture from the Spring Fling last year. And I can't even tell you, my Ox Gym has never looked so pretty. They decorated it beautifully. They had a DJ, they had refreshments and snacks, they had decorated, they had uplights, they had everything. But they did it in an inclusive way. There was a chill out zone and a calm corner. There was, the music wasn't too loud. There weren't any strobe lights. We left some of the lights on so it wasn't so intense of a difference between outside and inside. They really thought about all the ways to help make it fun and accessible for everybody. And when they did that, it became like the best reviewed dance of the year, which was very exciting. And then we also have monthly Unified Fridays. So the shirt that I'm wearing today is our Unified Wildcat shirt. It is something that we sell as a program, as a fundraiser. And once a month, we ask our students and staff to wear our shirts, really to, of course, promote our Unified program, but really to help show how proud we are of being inclusive. And so it's a really great way for us to share support and kind of spread the word. All right, next slide, please. So when we look as educators at teaching, of course, I'm an adapted physical education specialist. I, of course, want my students to be improving their gross motor skills, fitness skills, sports skills, things like that. But when we look at inclusion and we look at our unified programming, it's not just doing that. It's really educating the whole child. And that's been kind of a buzz phrase for quite a while in education, but this really does it. Because students who are in Unified aren't just getting a deeper understanding of the content we're teaching, they're also learning communication skills. They're learning leadership skills, social skills. They're really getting a full, well-rounded character development. Because let's be honest, what high schooler doesn't think they exist in a bubble, right? And so I love preparing my students for what is actually out there. What is the real world like? Not everybody's exactly like me. We're not cookie cutter. So this is a really great opportunity for students to really have that kind of real world learning as well. These are the pictures from our big game. Like, I cannot overemphasize how cool this game is. These, again, are students that showed up, gave up their own lunchtime, showed up, and really, really supported our players. When we do inclusion correctly, it's not just about our campus. It's about the community. It really is something that can go from my gym, and then all of a sudden, it continues beyond. So like, what happens when you drop a pebble in a still pool? It ripples. That's exactly what happens when we do inclusion right. Because then all of a sudden I see my students high-fiving each other in the hallways, or asking somebody they wouldn't have normally to sit with them at lunch. Or we're gonna have students who are advocating at their churches or in their neighborhoods or in their workplace to make what they're doing more accessible to more people. That's the kind of thing that happens, and it's really remarkable when we do it, because we are not just showing that we're a caring community, but we're willing to put that into action to be inclusive. And so you guys, as you've probably seen, I could talk about this all day, but I also think it's really beneficial to hear from former students. So Sam Allred is one of our former Unified students. She graduated in 2022, She said, many stereotypes have been broken as I spend more time with everyone. Seeing how talented each student is greatly inspires me to continue working hard and helping others as well. I'm truly grateful for this experience as my mindset has shifted towards a more compassionate and inclusive one. And that's huge for a high school student. I mean, I love watching that happen because high schoolers tend to be very inward thinkers, right? But having them get to the point where they're thinking outward, they're thinking beyond themselves, is really amazing. Sam graduated. She actually ended up being a volunteer at Rad Camp for us, and she also is now studying to be a special education teacher, which is really, really cool. And then over here, our quote from Annika. She said, I think in Unified, it exemplifies the true meaning of inclusion in that there is no one person over the other. We work as a team together. And if I've done nothing but get students to understand that, I will be a happy teacher. There is no hierarchy in Unified. Everybody is on the same playing field. We love, appreciate, value everyone for the same equal amount. Because we all have so much to contribute, we all have so much to give, and we all have so much to learn from each other. Annika, after she graduated, went off to college, and she is currently studying to be an occupational therapist. So apparently I'm also feeding the future SPED world with future professionals. But these quotes make me so proud because it really is, like I said, not only about the content. Of course, that's always important, but it's the kind of people that we're sending out into our world and into our community. And so when we look at whether it's a school, whether it's a community program, a workplace environment, a church, whatever that looks like, when we do inclusion intentionally and appropriately and effectively, it really, really does make a difference. And that's it.
Yeah. So thank you.
Oh,
yes. And so when everyone in this room is a leader, and you'll identify other leaders within your organization. So seek people out like Kasha and say, yes, this was a resource allocation. So we invested in this program, we invested in Kasha and this vision, but it's easy. It's easy to say yes to kids and programs like this. So thank you, Kasha, for all you do for our students in our organization. And I shared with her my own daughter was in Best Buddies in her high school. And so now she's a school psychologist and arms counselor for Tustin Unified School District because of her work with special needs students. So it really does make a difference. So think about your own organization and how you can create those inclusive opportunities for your families and the kiddos who attend. So Lacey said it's okay to take questions. I know we're a little bit over. Yes.
My name is Brian Alvarez.
Hi, Brian.
I'm a resident of Brea. I'm a 20-year combat disabled veteran. I'm a father of a special education IEP child who's 7 years old. Talk about inclusion in the community. Okay? And I understand you're addressing the high school level and the school level. But what about outside the community with the youth programs that do not support kids like this that are on that type of spectrum, as they call it? Protecting our children. Our children are our future. And if we don't stand up as parents, as a school district, to protect our children and hold these sports organizations accountable for certain actions that they conduct or allow coaches to conduct, who can we go to? What support, what programs? Can we use this here to start educating these Brea youth sports programs for children like my son? We probably all have family, kids, and probably play sports in Brea at one time or another. So we need that. We need it at the lower level, because right now what I've seen, and my son is very active in a lot of sports programs throughout Brea and sister cities, and he wants to continue playing, but when there's certain things that go on, he gets stuck. He takes that emotion into the classroom that is affecting his education now. So when it comes to this, it is very important that we do protect our children. Also, not just outside the community with sports, but also into the program. How can we help them with that change? And I'm great, and with the school district, the team that he has, the support staff that he has this year are great with him, and I appreciate that. So can we see something like this in the future with these sports programs and start either holding them accountable or educating them and giving them the resources to help not only protect our children, but help them feel safe and want them to come back and play them sports.
Yeah, and I think that's great, Ryan. Thank you for highlighting that. And we have great community partners. I know our city wasn't able to join us today, but we're constantly speaking with our city officials. And then you have Sarah Watkins and Kim Summers with Awesome Sauce, and they have reached out. And so we are creating more opportunities for students at our school sites and exposing, this is at the elementary level. So Kim has 2 students at Falcon, and Sarah, are you at Falcon?
Yeah.
One at Falcon. And so we do create opportunities, and Kasha and I were just talking about this yesterday actually with our elementary PE, is how do we create a more inclusive, all of our students play PE and sports together with, on our campuses for PE, but it does trigger some students. And so how can we expand opportunities for students where we don't have them feeling triggered during PE or during sports? So I'm happy to take this back. I do meet with the city manager and assistant city manager about once a month. So I'll let them know, and the community services director. So I'll let them know and share your comments with them to see what we can do. And Kim and Sarah are awesome partners too, so you may want to get connected with them. But I appreciate that, and I'll definitely carry that back. See what we can do. You're welcome. Thank you. Any other questions?
I'm just curious because I have a high school student that graduated, and I'm curious when you started the actual 50-50. When did this actually start?
So Unified PE started at the high school probably 2018, 2019. But that was the only program for quite a while.
Okay.
And then we brought Unified Sports last year, and then Unified Choir this year.
Yeah.
And I'm not done.
I know. I'm just sitting here thinking.
She knows
oh my
this
God.
about me.
I know.
It's a secret.
I was just sitting here thinking, wow, this is really exciting. Where was this like 5-10 years ago?
Yeah.
Right? Because like my kids have already graduated, and one of them was on the spectrum, and so I just love it. I mean, it's just I don't know. I'm just so happy, guys.
Yeah, it did require financial investment. We hired another part-time teacher. We had to free up Kasha's schedule to really build out this program at the high school, and working with our school board, saying yes to programs like this is really at the core of who we are in Brea, which you see. So it is a very touching program. And yes, she whispered to me yesterday, she's like, can we do more? So we'll definitely talk about it, because I just, creating opportunities and barriers for kids. And in Brea, we have the haves and we have the have-nots. Right? And we need this partnership and opportunity to expand opportunities and make sure that our students are employable and they have those community connections. So, it's through this outreach and, looking over here at Senator Archuleta, I love talking to him and Kyle, such huge supporters of us. So I may be knocking on your door and talking about this later today, but even with our school bond, so anything, our community is here for us and here for our district. So, Senator Archuleta was a huge supporter with that, which will improve our facilities, which then trickles down and improves our opportunities for kids. So, Connie.
Not really a question, but just a comment. This was so inspiring. I did not know any of this, and so it's another reason I'm just so proud to be in Brea and to brag about Brea Olinda Unified School District. I'm a graduate of Brea Olinda High School, and this is absolutely fantastic. So thank you for all your work. You're making a massive impact for Ripple for years and years to come, and so many families. So bravo to you.
Yeah, she's amazing. Sarah.
Sarah.
Is there plans to bring this trickle down to elementary or even middle school first, and then maybe elementary?
So we have unified dance at the junior high right now, and then Kasha and I will need to talk about what this looks like at the elementary, but I do think there's a great opportunity for that. We have our best meet every year, which I think this is the 41st annual best meet coming up in probably February, March. So it's a track meet for 4th through 6th graders in our district, and you would think it's the Olympics. It is a fun event, but Kasha and I have been talking about how do we create opportunities for our students with special needs to participate in the best meet, because we really want our students to experience the full opportunity in public education that we offer here in Brea. So we'll be talking about that.
We need to clone you.
I know we do. We do.
Yes.
And it's
Only one person.
Yeah. But it's through the partnerships, right, that we're able to find these supports and attract and retain staff members who really have a heart for serving students and serving our community.
Awesome.
And if I may add, I think one of the conversations that I have a lot with either teachers or administrators is, yes, we're doing a great job at the high school, but wouldn't it be great if we could get it earlier on so it wasn't catching our students so late in the game, so to speak. And so if we make it a part of their natural education experience, it's kind of like with teachers, they're like, how do I make my class more inclusive?
Yeah.
And I say, you have to start day one. That's your culture. That's what's happening.
True.
And so that's the expectation. So if we start it, it'll keep catching. And that's what we're noticing.
Yeah.
It might not always happen as fast as I want it to, but I'm a very highly motivated
Persistent,
person.
yes.
And persistent. But the beauty of it is that we are very well supported with this in finding not just growth, but growth not at the expense of quality. And so making sure that we're doing it right and doing it efficiently.
Sustainability is a huge aspect of our decision making, and so going on this journey with Kasha, we wanted to make sure that it was sustainable and that we maintained that investment. So that also plays into our decision making. So thank you.
Thank you.